Okay, good afternoon, folks. Hope everyone is well. It's okay. Okay, where are we now? We are, okay, market's opening in around about 40 seconds, 35, 40 seconds. So, good morning to you, Karina. So, incidentally, I will mention it a bit later. I've had another email for a payment for another $1,000 this month for another account. So that puts me up to 7,000 this month. So I thought I'd get maybe another evaluation. So I got an evaluation and passed it earlier. So that will take my accounts up to 7 tomorrow. So all good. So let's see how we got on today. Good day yesterday for me. I was up around about $450 per account. So it was a good day yesterday. So, okay, market's open. Let's see where we end up today. Is this thing going up? We've had a little break. So I'm not sure whether there's a channel coming down. We actually went into this area where this gap was at the start of yesterday's open. Well, the evening before, actually. So I do wonder whether we're going to fill it at some point. I thought we may yesterday. We actually took back some of it, but there is still some left. So yes, I did. I applied for another $1,000 payments from 2 accounts. Well, another $500 each from 2 accounts, and that got approved this morning. I only applied from last night, so I got another $1,000 coming. So I thought I'd add another couple of accounts. So I did one earlier, a reset account earlier, and passed it. Yeah, I took something down here. I think it was on the NQ chart. So, yeah, all good. Okay, so we got 2 legs up. In fact, I'm not even convinced that is a channel. Let's remove it. It's just 2 legs up and a retest. Is this thing coming down? Who knows? So, good start up to $7,000 January. So, it's a good start to the year. January is about over, another few days, a couple of 3 days. Thank you. I appreciate that, Karina. So we got a couple of legs up, 2 legs down. Volume is quite low overnight. There's not a lot. Whether that has anything to do with the FOMC later. Maybe it's a bit quiet. So we've got a leg up and a leg up and a retest. See, there was a second entry short there, and on this chart, it didn't look like we'd had a break. Well, we'd had a small break and a bounce. We hadn't made a new low. But on my other chart, we'd already had a break and a new low, so I left that, and rightly so, because it only came down a bit before it pushed up. Jan, thanks, bud. I appreciate that, mate. Thank you. Alfredo, Chinese New Year. It is, isn't it, actually? Yeah, I think my daughter came home with some... she'd been to the China... She likes all that sort of Chinese food and ramen and all sorts of stuff, and she came home yesterday with a couple of those fortune cookies. So, Speedy, how you doing, my friend? Yeah, so another $1,000 from 2 more accounts. I've had 4 payments on one of those and 3 payments on one of my other accounts. So, so far things are working nice this year. So, so we've bounced off overnight lows there. So my gut feeling is this is going to come down and test these lows. There is a failure there. Let's see how that works. Let me just open an order. Check
order
everything
submitted.
is doing what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Try going once. There is a failure there. So there's a second entry long. Let's see if this fails. Just check there's nothing coming down here. There may be. It's a bit early, I think. Come on, lock me in. I think it's going to stop that out. It is a failure, but it didn't trigger me. See if we get a little pullback on it. I'm not overjoyed jumping in here. Let's have a look.
Order cancelled. Order submitted.
See if we get a little second entry here. See if we get a second entry short. It is a channel down there with a break. So there's our first entry, and there's the failure, second entry short. I'd say that's pretty vulnerable. It's floating in the middle of nowhere. So to get us below there, that would be 2.5 points. Looks like it's going to work, doesn't it? Yeah, someone took it. It's definitely made 2.5 points.
Order cancelled.
Daryl, how you doing, bud? Hey, Tone. Okay, so it did work. So the failure did work. I missed it initially, then it started going sideways, so I kind of hesitated, but that's okay. I've got no problem. Anybody take it? It is, in my opinion, it's looking too sideways. So Dan never took it. It is a little bit, I will say. But I think it's okay. It's readable. It is a failure. So you are 2 legs down. You're going to be trapping longs. And if it gets below there, Exponential, how you doing, buddy? You took it for 4 points. Good on you, mate. Yeah, it's just one of those ones. It is a little sideways. You don't know whether we're going to have a couple of bounces and push up or not. I don't know, but I don't think it was a terrible trade at all. As I say, I did drop my order there, but it never triggered me, so I pulled it, and then it started to go a bit sideways then, so I kind of hesitated. Sometimes you've just got to either go for it or stay out, but it is a second entry long. That if I took that trade, I'd expect to lose that because it's too far from the bottom. and it's going short, it's going long, right into that midline in this area here. So for me, that is a vulnerable trade, which led me to take that. I didn't notice that initially, but we did have a second entry long there, which triggered. So sometimes I'll go a bit sideways, but it's one of those things. So we've had a break, 2 pushes to a new low. So what I've got to see now is whether there's a channel coming down or whether it's safe to sort of think about going long, but maybe not. So let's just put that there for now. That doesn't look terrible. It is a little bit rangy. Triple test. Yeah, it's a push up and a bounce. Yeah, I don't know whether I call that triple test. I liked clear bounces, but yeah. Bounce once, bounce twice, 3 times. Yeah. I think the concern I have as well, we push down and pull back. A lot of the time then we do continue down. But yeah, I don't think it was a bad trade at all. I'm just not sure whether this thing's going to continue down. We got some, there's bound to be some stops under that area there. So yeah, I took I applied for another payment from 2 accounts, another $500 from each account, and got that approved. I did it late last night, actually. It was about 10 o'clock. And it was approved this morning. So I shall show you the email. There we go today. Payout approval, payout approval. They're both for... well, a minute, yeah, they're both for $500, that one as well. $500. So that puts me up to 7,000 for the month. So that's the best month I've had. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm feeling quite positive. I'm not doing stupid stuff and it's starting to work. So, okay, so it did push down and break these lows. There's bound to be stops there. So even if you'd have taken that one or whatever, really. But there does seem to be a channel with a bit of an overshoot. So it has cleared that area out now. I would like to see this area. We pushed into it a little bit last night. Sorry, this morning. We got all-time highs up here, and that's where the gap was. So I think at the moment we're still going up. So whether we get 2 legs down and this thing continues on up, God only knows. So let's just have a look on the 10,000 tick chart, see if that gives us anything. Let me have a look. So interestingly, this is the 10,000 tick chart. Now we had that big drop, quite likely because of that that China AI news that came out and something to do with Nvidia, and then we had 2 legs up. So, I mean, the overall to me is still bullish at the moment. So I'm going to put that there. In fact, let me have a look. I mean, there is a possibility. Be interesting to see what happens if we get to that line, because I'd like to see that gap filled. So touch. Now, whether we will or not, but we do seem to be working in that area there. So it'd be interesting to see. I'm just going to leave this on my other chart. If we have a leg and a leg down, that would more or less take us, in fact, it'd take us a little bit past it, but you know what I'm saying, don't you? So, visually it doesn't look too bad. So I'll just keep an eye on that as well. So at the moment, I'm not treating this as a range, so I'm not thinking about fading it, because with the exception of that push up overnight, we're kind of more or less at the moment. There's more of a downward bias, so taking a long ear and fading this isn't really what I'm thinking about doing. It may come in, but it has been touching there, so we'll see. But there is possible overshoot, so who knows? But this isn't just something I'm interested in at the moment, so. Yeah, I would have preferred that slightly higher, tucking the top of that body, tucking under that line. Okay, so there's a bullish bar there. It's triggered, touched the underside of this, and this is working down. So another reason why I didn't think about fading that, because that to me looks like it's on the way down there, unless we get a higher low and it traps the short. But usually that first break of something there, a lot of the times triggers and stops out. We'll see. So, interestingly enough, it did the complete opposite. So, there's a higher low now. Now, is there an overshoot, or we'll see. I still wouldn't take a long ear just in case we get a second entry short. I'm just going to open an order just in case.
Order submitted.
It's a very small bar. It's only 6 ticks, but I'm sitting tight here. I'm staying out of this. See, some may call that a breakout of a little range there. No
Order
good.
cancelled. That looks like it may go up. I'm just sitting tight here. I'm not interested. It does look like there is a bit of a channel down, so it could come down. Did anybody watch? I was watching it last night. Nutty and Patrick Whelan talking. Actually, this is the first time I've watched Patrick Whelan talking. Generally, just chit chat, and I thought he's actually a nice guy. He comes over quite loud and ballsy and in your face, and I mean, that's just for the cameras, because he was chatting with Nutty and just asking him questions, and I thought it actually comes over as a really nice guy. So I think a lot of that brashness is just for the cameras, I think, really. But I really enjoyed their chat, actually. So
So if if you got nothing to watch at some point, have a look at it. It was yesterday. I think it was his second day with him, but they were just sat chit chatting, and it was enjoyable watch actually. So my gut feeling now is this is going to push up, stop that out, and then maybe take out some of these. It's a push up and a little bit of sideways, and often it does kind of that mirror image. So this to me doesn't look like a market that's going to come down at the moment. Now I could be wrong, obviously, but just we push up, we go a bit sideways. Maybe I'm wrong. I wouldn't have taken that one anyway because it's just at that crunch area, isn't it? Now, let's see what happens here. I still don't think this is going to come down below there. Mind you, see, it is a little bit of a range with a breakout, but I don't know. I don't want to go short here. Something just doesn't, it's hard to put your finger on it sometimes, but something just doesn't feel right. It doesn't look right. And that is a second entry long. Could be a larger channel coming from it. Yeah, it could be a bunch of stuff really, couldn't it? But I don't know. We're at this area, see, we've broken out and pushed in. But I don't like these bars here. It is a second entry short, but it's a bit stacked and it's on this line and on the top of this. So for me, it's just a bit risky. You know, I tend to not have to worry about counting at the moment anymore. I just look at it and I either like the picture and I take it or I don't and I leave it. But you have to say now, this is vulnerable. You wouldn't short below this, but this you possibly would do. And then a move up, maybe take out this one and this one. But 2,000, is there really? Good grief. So I'd say that's vulnerable now, unless we trap a bond, this comes down. But when we get a leg up like that, it's almost like a push up and a little kind of a bear flag and then up again. You know, there's going to be shorts going short there, and all of a sudden triggers, pushes up, and then boom, eats up some stops. There'll be some there, I don't doubt. Places like here and here. But it could come down, but my gut is it's going to take out that. Unless I can move this up a bit. I mean, it could come down. That would be a kind of a second entry short, but it's just not. That will go, I think. So if you did short there, thinking you're going to come down and take that out, you'd have got something off it anyway. So it wasn't in vain. But we could get a leg and leg up and then down some more. You can have buyers there, buyer stops there, and it is 2 attempts to push up. But it has taken out that, so yeah, this is on the up, I think. Certainly temporarily. So leg and a leg. Let's just put a measured leg here just in case. So there and there. So even if we've had a break of this channel, it hasn't made a new low. If the channel's like that, we've had a break and we haven't made anywhere near a new low. So that is a leg and a leg. If we get a lower high here, that may interest me. But I don't want to take a short here because we have had a leg up with a break. So this could continue on up. or it could shoot down and clear out these stops. It is 2 legs up. It's really interesting, that, actually. Yeah, see, it's a leg up with the break. So there's going to be a few shorts in there, but this to me looks like it's now going to take out stops. We'll see. It could do either or. It is 2 legs back in a big bearish bar, which is triggered there. So there is a possibility of a larger channel. Touch. I'm not a massive fan of it just yet. There is a failure there. Second entry short has triggered. But it is 2 legs up after a possible break, so it could trigger this bull bar and come down. So I'm just staying out of either a long or a short here at the moment. This to me looks a little bit trappy. So see how we've just ticked above there? Now this is looking tempting.
Order submitted.
Trouble is, it's massive. You're going to have loads of stops here. So it's just stopped out there. So for me, that's we got 2 legs up and a lower high. Trouble is, it's 18 ticks. Scenario development. Yeah, what I like about it is we've got a channel down and we've got 2 legs up and a big bearish bar. We pull down, we'll have 2 slightly bullish bars, and if you notice it, when that happened, it instantly ticked up and started coming down. Now, it stopped that bar out there. Now, if you were going to go long, that failure wasn't a bad trade, I don't think, if you wanted to go long. It's right on that EMA. We go up, we trigger above it, and then come down instantly. So 2 legs up and a lower high. I just don't like that stem. If this had been not as big with less of a stem, it may have interested me.
Order cancelled.
But obviously it's the game's up now. So I'd say what I'm going to do is maybe there is something like that. So it was 2 legs up with a bearish bar. Now, after a break, that is the type of trade that's good to take. But we did make a measured move. And we have just broken out of this. So we've kind of pushed up and bounced a couple of times on support. So, yeah, now it's broken above there. I'm out of it anyway, so I'm not interested now. Or we've got a channel down here, a break in the way of 2 pushes up, so you may not consider this a break. Let's put it there. So we've got a channel coming down, we've got a break, 2 pushes up, and a bearish bar. 1, 2, 3. It's kind of a triple test as well, isn't it? It's very tempting, that is. Just sitting tight here. It's a little bit stacked up. I was very tempted to jump in short there, but I managed to hold back because it is a bit, it's a bit trappy. You had a bearish bar there, 2 legs up. I like that. Triggered, stopped you out. You had a bit of a bullish bar there. Triggered, came down, stopped out. So it's a bit trappy. It is a triple test. But I think the sensible thing to do. My gut feeling is it's probably going to come down and take out a bunch of stops. But at the moment, it's flicker up and down and doing nothing. So Let's see if we get a lower high, because it's also kind of rangy. Let's get rid of this a minute. Yeah, you never know. I don't know. See, if you look at that as a channel, we've had a break, 2 legs up and a bearish bar. And also, we are sort of hitting some support here. But yeah, we have got FOMC today, so who knows what it's going to do. Okay, so good choice not to take that so far. It's a bit too far from that EMA, really, and it's a bit unclear. It's a bit sideways. It could be sort of moving up. It may hold. I don't know. It's hard to say at the moment. If that was a good triple test, I think it would have worked a little bit better than just a few ticks. If we can get a push below that EMA and then get a lower high, we'll see. Let's just get rid of that a minute. Okay, so let's... So maybe just, I'll tell you what, let's put that there. That may be a little better. There we go. I'm okay with that. So we got a break, 2 legs up, 2 legs down, leg and a leg, and a break of this channel, and a new low, a little bit of bottoming. So, yeah. Yeah, I very nearly went for that sell button there. And I'm glad I didn't really. I'm trying to just slow things down a bit. The trouble is, when I do a limit order, I've got to right click, click on
Order
buy limit,
submitted.
drag it and bring it in.
Order
Whereas
cancelled.
with the buy or sell button, I move up to it and I click it. So there's less time to think. So I'm trying not to operate with the buy and sell button. There is a time and a place for them. I mean, if it's a fantastic setup and it's quicker to do it. But it is a little bit stacked here. So, you know, that sensible person in me says, just hold fire. Sit back. I mean, if I put that back there, channel, breaking the way 2 pushes up, it still could come down. It's always a possibility. Let's see if it does first before I make any decisions. Don't know, I've reloaded today. Let me just do that now. I may come back at 7 o'clock tonight UK time, and I might trade this on the news. I may trade another valuation on the news. It's taking its time. This is still saying reloading. It's taking its time. Okay, there we go. Ah, wow, that's quite a bit different, that is. That's a hell of a lot different. Does that look like anybody else's? That's a hell of a lot different, that is. That doesn't look right to me at all, that. I didn't loss. Yeah, something's missing there, isn't there? Let's try it again. It took about 2 minutes. And then there's definitely stuff missing. It's jumped, that is. That bar is about 8 points. Yeah, it looks like it. Just looked a bit too steep all of a sudden. It's taking time. You never know. I mean, to be fair, we've had no real issues. Well, I certainly have any issues with but I mean, if you remember last year's summertime, it was crap, wasn't it? It was constantly breaking down. That was a ball ache. I mean, trading's stressful enough as it is without your stuff going wrong. It's still taking time. I might just let's disconnect and reconnect, see if that helps. No, it won't, will it? Of course it's not. Let me just, I'm just going to shut this down and reopen it. Just okay, let's reboot it. That looks a bit better. Does that look? Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, okay. That looks fine to me. Much better. Well, that looks exactly the same as Thomas Wade's, so all good. Everything's as it should. Let me just, we're on a sim though. 15. Let me just open my trades.
Order submitted.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Order
Excellent.
cancelled.
Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, sometimes it's better to reboot these things. Thomas Wade's, or someone said, not sure what's going on, restart Ninja Trader. Yeah, so some people might be getting a few issues. Not sure what's going on in my chat. Yeah, okay, so there does seem to be a few issues around. Okay, so there is a little bit, we got overnight lows here and there's some support there, so this may be bouncing. So yeah, look at that turn there. So there's definitely a bit of support there. Look at that. So this may now be ranging. Look at this thing. What's causing that? I'm just assuming there's sellers there, isn't there? Wow, look at that. I think there's a larger downtrend here. Yeah, it could be, I suppose. Let's have a look. Yeah, looks like it may. I mean, there is some support over there with there's a lot of bounce in there at overnight lows. So, yeah, something like that. So, it could get down to this area. So, leg and a leg before maybe we get a push back up. Who knows? Took the bounce up 1,000, scary but quick. Good on you. Good on you, mate. So there's definitely a bit of support here. So yeah, it's hard to know. See, Thomas Wade has got that. There's a range why it's bounced, but it does line up as a possible downtrend. So we got this trend down, one attempt to go high, second attempt to go higher, failure. So I don't know at the moment. See who else has got what. I don't know, he's in a different planet. I don't know where the hell that chart's from. So that's all we got at the moment. So yeah, it's kind of there's a possible downtrend, but I'm bouncing a bit. Chart. Oh, was it? I was going to say something wasn't right there. Someone's looking at something completely different. Oh, incidentally, if anybody's got those new charts or that new platform, apparently they've got a 90% off on that new platform. I had a message from Tony this morning off the new platform. I didn't realise you got to pay for it, that new platform. But if you use any other platform with Apex, you don't have to pay for it. I mean, I got a lifetime license anyway, so I don't have to pay anything. But even if you trade with Apex, I believe most platforms with Apex, it's all part of the package, part of the evaluation and the PA. But apparently, you've got to pay for this new platform. You don't need to pay for it. I thought you said, was it you, Tommy? It was, wasn't it? I thought you had to. No, or you? No, I can't remember. Got an email 90% leave. Oh, the wealth chart. Yeah. Gonna say I've had one. Usually, as an affiliate, you get an email. Well, I don't think I've had one. Usually, get an email because usually I'll mark it. So. No. Trouble is, new platforms, I get emails quite often. I'd say once a week at least from either a new platform saying, UK Futures Trader, we got an exciting opportunity for you in collaboration with us and all this sort of stuff, and offering different platforms and this. But the trouble is, usually you'll get used to one and stick with it. If it doesn't, why? I spent 3.5 years using this. I know it pretty well. So I don't see why you'd want to change. I get at least one a week email from some company offering this, that, and the other, but it's not relevant. It doesn't interest me. Offer this to your customers. The trouble is, people they use what they use. You don't want to ram new stuff down the throat. That just annoys people. Let's have a look. So push down, a little pull back, and then down again. So if you had a mobile phone YouTube, you wouldn't mind that because you'd be getting free mobile phones or whatever they do. But that's not a lot of stuff you get as a trader. Bits of software and that I've used in the past. I got Replicanto for free. That saved me a little bit. Well, when I went to get it, it was 150, but so it has its little perks. Having a channel. I got that one. Remember that one-click trader that I had for a while? I got that for free. But it was a good bit of software, actually. I just accidentally clicked a button here and ended up buying something. I like the fact that the buy and sell are right up the top out the way. 2 trades yesterday, lads. Today may be a no trade day, considering your 1 trade a day. You never know, mate. To be honest with you, bud, whether I have a trade or not, well, it's nice to have a trade. It does not bother me in the slightest anymore not taking a trade. Because one of my biggest hurdles was patience, and my patience is really good. That's one of my strongest attributes at the moment. So when I've had a day where I haven't taken a trade, I actually feel good about, I feel good with myself. I'm, in a happy mood. I know you want to trade, but I mean, you can only offer what the market gives you, and I know that by now. So, but I'll go away and have a whiskey. I'm quite happy. So you can only see, you get people talk about, I've got this target and I've got that financial target. It's not trading's not one of these things that you can work harder at, to a degree anyway, obviously, as you learn. But if you're a window salesman, you could put on a really smart suit and go out there and kick ass and work harder and stuff like that. I don't know, if you're a bricklayer and you got an incentive, if you lay more bricks, you can work harder. But with trading, it doesn't kind of work like that. But yeah, I know what you're saying. Mate. Yeah, I know what you're saying. But no, just chatting generally. I'm quite happy to go away on a 0 day. It does give your sort of ego a boost, that the fact that you managed to stay out and you didn't do anything stupid, which I have done plenty of in the past. So, got kind of like a triple test there. Is this thing going to go back up? I'm starting to think it may not be a trend. Let's see, we've had that leg down and 2 attempts to push lower. But that bullish bar has pushed up. There's definitely something there. Why don't I have that line there? I can't remember why I put that there now. Channel down, 2 attempts to push up. It could come down, but it may push up. Does seem kind of rangy, and as it's come off the bottoms, you wouldn't really want to go short. But at the moment, shoulder, head. It's kind of like an inverse head and shoulders, isn't it? You've got the shoulder, head, shoulder, and you would think that will go up, but we've also got that big strong move down and 2 attempts to push up. You are using the new Ninja Trade Update version. Is there any difference? Not at all, mate. I haven't noticed anything. The reason I updated it is because when we had that last update from Replicanto, there was an issue with Ninja Trader that actually Replicanto were aware of, and they advised me to update it. I forgot all about it, to be honest with you, but I updated it, I think, a day or 2 ago. No, there's no difference, mate. No difference. You're welcome, mate. It's tricky here what to do. It looks rangy, but it does look like a shoulder, a head, a shoulder, which is a bullish pattern, an inverse one. Not that I take those anyway, but if it's rangy, we've bounced off here and we've made 2 attempts to push lower, and we got quite a strong bar, but there's a little double top here, so is it going to go up? Probably. But whenever we get this down and we make a couple of attempts to go up, it could also come down and test these levels. But I'm just sitting tight here at the minute. I don't think it was a terrible trade. I'd have preferred it. You were certainly trapping a bear bar then anyway. So I don't think it's a channel down because we're going sideways on the bottom. But just out of curiosity, I want to see where it touches. So channel down, 2 attempts to push higher. Let's see if it does react to this. That's interesting. Channel down, 2 attempts to push higher. Yeah, I'm not sure whether bit of a pull back up to the top. There is a bearish bar there. It is 2 legs up, but it's just something about it that's just not exciting me. I'm not in a rush to trade this. Yeah, it is a little bit in it. And when it is like this, that's when you're kind of at your most vulnerable, really. So it is 2 legs up, but as we've come off the bottom, we've had quite a decent bounce, and we have pushed strongly above, but it is coming into contact with this. So yeah, sometimes they just work. I noticed there was some very large bearish bars today. Yeah, there is a few, isn't there? But yeah, we are at the moment stuck a little sideways. So we had a bounce up here and we came back and retested it a couple of times. So that would indicate that perhaps now we're going to go up to this area. But I got rid of that channel because I didn't like the bottom. Something like that. But we're missing so much. But this now could drop into it. Couldn't it break a lot of this? But I don't know. I'm just a bit unsure whether this is coming down or just a bit sideways. So I'm on the fence about this. I'll leave that there. Trouble is, it's easy to go short here and it triggers you and pushes up to the top of this, stops you out, and then we end up having a little channel up. So just too risky to take something like that. It wasn't the smallest of bars either, as you said, Sean. They're getting a little bigger. So 2 legs up and all of a sudden back down here now. And now we're on the move. Yeah, if anybody didn't watch that that Patrick Whelan chat with Nutty yesterday, watch it. I see a completely different side to Patrick Whelan. He actually comes over as a really nice guy. Usually he's quite brash and loud and sort of full of himself. But when you catch him on your own and you see the real Patrick, he actually comes over as a real nice guy. I found it interesting, and surprisingly enough, Nutty comes over as quite shy. Somebody mentioned it yesterday. He comes over as very shy. When the camera was like full on him, and he was in the confines of his own little place, he looked quite shy, actually. He went a little red at times. Mind you, he's got ginger hair, so I suppose but yeah, he was quite shy. It's better at devil's advocate. It might not get you, but it goes wrong. At least you know why. Yeah. So, yeah, Patrick Whelan, didn't he? He had an $800,000 month, didn't he? Wow. Chris, how you doing, my friend? How are you, lad? In fact, I spoke to a trainer buddy of mine, Marlon, yesterday. I meant to ask him. I'm pretty sure he's from Los Angeles. I didn't think, actually. they've obviously had the fires there. I wonder if he's been affected. I might message him later. He's in the stream now and again. Good on you, mate. Good on you. Yeah, he's from Los Angeles. Forgot, I slipped my mind. I know when sort of Trump started his move into the White House, it was kind of the papers and the press were all kind of focused on that, not so much on the fires. I don't know what situation they're in now. Do you know what? I'm going to just remove that a minute. And that. And I'm going to put a range in here. Because to me, that doesn't look too bad. It's definitely connecting with that, so you have to pay attention to that. Not that I'd necessarily want to go short there when we're so close to the tops. You never know where it's going to trigger you, push up, stop you out. The bit I don't like, I mean, we're obviously connected at the top. The bit I don't like is we're going sideways instead of getting down to that bottom, which is telling me it's losing a bit of downward momentum. Fact, I'm going to leave that there. We've got a small breakout there. And a small breakout at the top, as we often have, so I like that. Yeah, if you're interested in those wealth charts, there is a 90% off of valuations. I'm assuming they're trying to get, well, yeah, they're encouraging, which I suppose is good news in a way, because, you know, Apex have had a little bit of a rocky time, and you know, they're obviously thinking of the future. So they're still a company that, you know, is growing, new ideas moving forward. So that's comforting. You know, we read a few things about these lawsuits. Mind you, companies kind of go through that from time to time. You know, ex pissed off employees and stuff like that. All sorts of stuff goes on. So at least they're still acting like a company that's focusing on the future, which is comforting. Play. Already up a bit. I don't want to screw it up. Have a green day, mate. Go away, drink some single malt, and praise yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back. Apex does on their new wealth chart, bud. Incidentally, Apex have more or less got an 80% off. It's in the way of reset, so that's what I've been doing. So if you've got any accounts below, you can reset them for $35. I did one earlier and passed it, and they're still $85 to pass. So if you've got any old accounts, you can certainly, as long as they're not older, month old, you can reset them for about $35, which is kind of 80% off. And then if you pass them, it's still $85. They live on 9%. To be fair, we haven't had a normal sale since, what was it, 2nd or 3rd of January. That's the longest I've ever known Apex to have their prices at 50% off. Because not many people, I certainly won't pay 50% off. I'll pay the resets. I'll do. I've had a few of them. I don't mind. That's the equivalent of 85% off. But I'm personally, I'm not paying 50% off. I'm not paying $85 for a. Not a chance. Thanks, Sam. I appreciate that, mate. It's a good start to the year anyway, so what I've got to try and do now is focus on getting a little bit every month. But another $1,000 earlier on today. I just took 500 out from 2 accounts, and it approved quick. Actually, I did it late last night, and it approved about 7 o'clock this morning. So they were quick to approve that. The last one took about 3 days. You tend to think the longer they take, the less chance you have of being approved. But no, it's all good. It's nice to have a good start to the year. I mean, I'm not a fan of financial targets as such, because you can only sort of give what the market gets you. But it would be lovely to aim for something like $100,000 by the end of the year. It's only about 8,000, just over 8,000 a month now. Bearing in mind, I've got that 7,000 this month, only on about 4 accounts. I've got more now, so I've made that off not a lot of accounts. So if you have 10 accounts, even if you can get $1,000 a month, that's over 6 figures by the end of the year. It would be lovely to get close to that $100,000 by the end of the year. It would be lovely. Karina, yeah, it's only on the new platform. The dragon loves it when we make plans. It's so many calls. Yeah. Do you know what? Do you know now I'm starting to get some payments? It's just because I've stopped taking stupid risks. So many times I'd have just maybe one of my accounts and I'd take a stupid risk just trying to get a bit greedy, and it would go against me and I'd get frustrated and I'd do it with another one. I can't tell you how many P accounts I threw down the drain, but once you stop doing that, we all kind of know what the answer is. It is Murphy's Law, yeah. We all kind of know what the answer is, but sticking to it, it kind of almost seems impossible to a degree. You know, we're all grown-ups, aren't we? We all did stupid things as kids. We never listened to our parents and we learnt the hard way. But, you know, when you get older and someone says, try it this way, you listen. But with trading, it's almost like you're a kid again. You act stupid, you make stupid decisions. But that's obviously purely down to the emotions. But what the hell's that? Sorry about the howling, if you can hear howling in the background. Excuse me just a sec. Sorry about that. My dog Wilson just likes to howl sometimes. I mean, channel down with a break, 2 pushes up. I mean, it's feeling to me like it's bearish, but it's only bearish until it starts going up. So at the moment, I've just got to sit tight here. I mean, it's very tempting. We have a channel down, a couple of pushes up. This looks like, I don't know, bearish bar. Looks like it could come down, but at the moment, it's a little bit choppy. Maybe it's, you know, sometimes when we get these FOMC days, sometimes it does a lot of this. There's not a huge amount of movement, but sometimes it just It does this, but maybe it's hitting this level, and maybe at some point it's going to either break through it or bounce and go lower. But yeah, but it does. It feels a bit positive. Something's just changed for me, and I haven't really necessarily done anything wrong. I just think I've hit that level of absolute frustration where you just change. I've been quite stubborn up to now. It's took me a little bit longer than I thought it should have done. Not necessarily because I wasn't capable. My skill level is improving. I'm happy with that, the level that is at the moment. My patience is good. I just have that little urge, or I've had that little urge to just, I don't know, just want a bit of a head start or a bit of a boost, or maybe a bit greedy. You know, I'll double up here and we'll just see if we can get a quick $800 and get a bit lucky. And soon as when you have that mentality and you jump in and take a risk and a bit of a gamble, once it starts to go against you, the tendency then is to move your stop, and you either get lucky or it ends up in a blown PA. And I can't tell you how many times I've done that. And I think I've just got to the stage where I'm just fed up with it now. And strangely enough, when you actually do what we all know we should do, it starts to work. And you kind of wonder why the hell you don't listen earlier. I just seem to be one of those people, I think, that's just took a bit of time to get it through my thick skull that just follow the rules and things work out. But the trouble is with trading, it's, you know, I've heard people saying it's not gambling. I've heard people say it's definitely gambling. It's gambling that you can control, you know, that you have a element of control. Now, you know, there's certainly a lot more traders out there than professional gamblers. You know, there are people that can, you know, that know these horse races. They know them inside out, back to front. You know, it's a hobby, a passion, and, you know, some people make money at it. But with trading, obviously, you've got a clear edge. But you still get that same kind of excitement feeling of winning and losing that you get when you're gambling. It's very hard to kind of distinguish the fact, am I just taking risks because they're cheap, or am I gambling? When I've never been a gambler, it's never interested me. But you do ask yourself the question. I've certainly Googled, how do I know if I'm gambling and not trading? There's certainly plenty of material out there to read, that's for certain. Okay, so channel down, 2 legs up. We're in this area again. But I've done this before. You think, okay, this is the 3rd time. Let's have a go. And it triggers you, and up it goes. If you don't take it there, you don't take it there. You think next time, and I'll get in. And sod's law, as soon as it goes bearish, you jump in and it stops you straight out. So if we do get a bearish bar here, I'll wait for a higher low. I think I'm not going to... But having said that, it is kind of leg up, sideways, leg up. It's a break out of a range, isn't it? It wouldn't be the worst trade in the world. I might just, if it's bearish, I might just sit by and see what happens. But ordinarily, that wouldn't look like a bad setup. Now I wonder whether I just think a bit too much. Trouble is the move's already made, really. It's 14 ticks. We're already at the bottom of this. If it wasn't such a big bar and it closed a bit higher, the trouble is I've done this before. I've seen, well, look at this, bouncing there. Next time it does it, I'll go short. You get a bearish bar, you go short, triggers you, stops you out. But that has worked. Certainly they got 3 points out of it. So if I'm looking at people like Dan's chart, he's not following those lines down. He's just looking at upon his range. So I doubt he'll have taken that. He'll be looking for shorts up here and longs down here. He hasn't got that down like that. So I'm just a bit on that. I mean, well, look at that. You have to pay attention to it now, don't you? I mean, look at that. Yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? If I suppose if sellers are seeing that hitting the top of a channel, they may short. And the setup doesn't look that bad. A lot of the time we see it push up, it'll go sideways and push up, and it is a big bearish bar. But as you say, it's right into this. And I've seen this before. I've seen it hit a couple of times, and I'm thinking, I'm missing this. Next time it does it, I'll jump in, and it does the complete opposite. Trend lines, third touch, hold. Fourth or fifth there. Is that how it works? Third touch holes. Yeah. And not only that, it was 14 ticks, tick above, tick below. I don't really want to risk nearly $400 times 6. But yeah, it is the type of trade that you would expect to work in the right circumstances. I'd have preferred this to break straight out of this, but we've had a break of this and a matching low, so you don't know whether it's going to trigger that and come up to the top or come up to here. I mean, in hindsight, you look at that, it's a trade, you would go, yeah, we'll mark that, but in real time, life isn't that simple. You know, I do like the fact that it's clipping that, but it's not doing what I would expect it to do. The other side of it, if I was to believe it's a channel, I mean, it is working there and there, but from there, we're going sideways, which tells me at any point it could decide to go up to there. Fortunately, it worked. So if you did take that trade, it worked. But I haven't seen anybody mark it, so I'm assuming. But it is, I do like the fact that it's kind of a breakout that's failing, but we're already in there and we're a tick off the bottom. But we see that all the time. Push up, sideways, push up. It's just two legs, really. But it's one of those things. I think sometimes and I think with me, the difference between being a lot more consistent is knowing when to leave trades if you're not sure. There's no shame in leaving a trade. And strangely enough, it doesn't actually frustrate me at all. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. If that rocketed down, it doesn't bother me. I genuinely mean it doesn't affect me at all. So it's not like I know I'm going to be frustrated if I miss out. I think the sensible thing to do, if you've got that attitude that if you don't like it, you leave it, you're not going to go far wrong. 3 on trend lines, third touch holds, fourth and fifth fails. I'll keep that in mind. It makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, you have to pay attention to that at least, don't you? Because once, twice, I mean, look how nice it's touched. So, even if you don't think it's a channel, what will quite likely happen is this will push down now and bounce off here, so it'll act as a channel. But, it's going sideways, and sometimes when it goes sideways and it doesn't get to the bottom, you don't know whether that enough buyers are going to push it up, in which case we take this up to here, or whether it is going to come down. It would be nice to know, wouldn't it? But unfortunately, it don't work that. When you come back and later and you look at a chart, it's very easy to spot trades. Here we go, channel down, 2 legs up, bearish bar, short, came down beautifully. It's easy to spot them, but in real time, it's nothing to say. It's nothing like it. So we got a channel down there with a break and a matching low. I mean, we could take that down to there if you wanted to. That doesn't look terrible, in which case I may just move that up. So there's your third time. So let's see if your theory is right, Kirk. Let's see if we bounce here. We rock straight through it. So we've got a channel down, 2 attempts to push our. I just don't want to go short at the moment because I think it's more sideways, although we are clearly respecting the top. To be honest with you, mate, I actually liked the trade. The bit that concerned me is I'm seeing sideways movement and the tops are coming down. Another thing as well, if it had been a bit smaller and closed here, that would have been more attractive, but we come right into the range and we're a tick off the bottom. So will Mac mark that? I think he probably would. But it's hard to say. I mean, you know, we see this pattern all the time. Up, across, and up. And that move's made dollars, and I don't need to worry about bloody trailing draw. Yeah, it's nice that. It's nice if you want to go for a few more points. You know, if you jump in here for a long one when you want to get to the top, you can let it go and come out and stop you from break even without worrying about it affecting your drawdown. Yeah, I've got that on a couple of accounts. I don't have to worry, but the rest I do. So. So let's see if we get through this. We bounce again. Yeah, see, Dan or Thomas haven't put that line down there. So he hasn't marked that too sideways for me. He hasn't marked that. Ordinarily, that type of trade in a downtrend is lovely. So he hasn't got that, and Dan hasn't either, or last I looked, he has. But Dan hadn't. So he has got it. And there's Dan again, so he hasn't. So he took that. Well, he marked it. That range until FOMC. Yeah, you never know, mate. See, we're still in this channel at the moment, so it'd be interesting to see what happens up here again. But yeah, sometimes. I'm going to trade another valuation on it sometimes we get FOMC. Is it? Okay, so it's FOMC statement at 7 o'clock and FOMC press conference. So the statement will come out. And if I'm right, correct me if I'm wrong, that usually can lead to fireworks, can't it? So was it the last FOMC, the one before, where the market absolutely tanked? I think it was a trader mate of mine messaged me, went, market's tanking, so I jumped in and passed an evaluation. I kind of like it when it goes quickly. Wait for a little pullback and you can pass evaluations pretty quick. You got to take them aggressively, of course, but Okay, channel with a break. Let's see what happens here. Same again, I want to stay out of it if we get a bearish bar here, because we are bouncing here, but we're coming down here. So this type of scenario, does this lead to breakout here and then drop? I don't know. It's kind of a... I don't generally follow, but it's, what do they call it? Is it a rising wedge or something? I don't know. Rising wedge, I don't know what they call them, but so channel break, new high. $10,000 tick chart, so we got a leg down. I mean, it is looking like it could fail. Let's have a look. Yeah, see, that kind of does look like a channel. You know, we push down, we work it in the bottom tier, then we push up, work it in the top tier. 15 minutes. 74s and 50s are holding. Yeah, it's just hard to say, isn't it? So that's the 10,000. That looks a little clearer. Bottom's fitting okay. Fitting here. Just doesn't interest me short in here. Push up, goes sideways a little bit like there. Sometimes it'll go higher. Okay, so we got a push up and a little range here. Is this going to fail or is it going to come down? Yeah, see, no setup there anyway. But it's hitting this line and coming down again. Okay, this is interesting. So this is the daily. Now we can see that gap. We had that bit of a drop. We gapped down, pushed up. Now there's a bit of a bullish bar there, which is triggered. So we could have a second leg down here, or at least below this. There's that gap. We've sort of dropped and we've moved over and pushed up, and then we've triggered above it and come down. So we could make another little push down here. And there's always a possibility for a while it could do this. Wouldn't be unheard of. Which means we're more or less at the top. We get that gap down. And this could come down. So break should see 65. Yeah. I don't know how these kind of wedge patterns usually manifest themselves. Okay, excuse me just for a quick minute. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Yeah, slow at the moment. It's hard to know whether this thing's going to do something either up or down. Yeah, it's too dangerous to this and chop you up this stuff. It could shoot up, it could come down. In fact, while it's doing this sideways stuff slowly, I'm just going to take advantage of a quick 5-minute break. I'm just going to make a cup of tea and I'll be back up in about 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, finally out the bottom. Let's see what happens now. So, see, second entry short. Trouble is, there's a bit of a wick there. You just, how long do you trust this thing for? There we go. Anyway. Yeah, I don't think anybody took it. It's just, it's too choppy. So, what I would suggest is, depending on how you feel about these, I don't think that is terrible. So, what I'm going to do is remove those. And then do this. Maybe not. It looks like a leg down with a couple of legs up. And down again. It's hard to say, really. I've got mixed feelings about this. Trouble is, I've been trading long enough to know now, sometimes when you have days like this, it can carve you up if you're not careful. You know, as just out of context, is I think that was a kind of a nice trade. The only slightly concerning thing is it's right back into this line. If it was up here, it would have been terrible. I don't think. It's better as a spike and channel. You're on about here, are you? I'll tell you what. Let's just start again. Let's try it from the bottom, see if that gives us any clarity. Sometimes it does. Not sure, but that's the type of thing Mac would put. He puts some unusual channels. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure about it at the moment. What I will say is, what I do like is this. Maybe even just from here, actually. It's hard to say, isn't it? I mean, we've had a break, 2 pushes up. Often that's where it'll start. Actually, you have a channel with a break, 2 attempts to push high, and it struggles, so down it comes. So I actually like it from there. It fits there, and you could squeeze it to there anyway. So, do you look at this as a range, or do you look at this as a channel? If it's a channel, we've got 2 legs down, leg and a leg up. Second entry shorty wouldn't be a bad. You'd be trading the make breakout pullback type thing. Trouble is with days like this, when it is like this, it's got a tendency to making you miserable. It's that ATR. The ATR is not super big, so channel down, second entry short here wouldn't be terrible. There's a higher low there. Trap the higher low and down to these lows. Which it never triggered. Come on, push up. Yeah, see, that doesn't look terrible. We've got a channel down. If we can get a second entry short to push above this, then I may have a go at that. Okay, where's my order? It's up here. We've got a higher low there, so that's interesting. So leg and a leg, leg and a leg. I'd like to break above this and stop that out as well. Trouble is, you don't know if there's buyers down here. I'd have much preferred that to push above there. Okay, I'll stop that out and triggered it. It's not going to finish bearish anyway. I don't like that. Let's pull it.
Order cancelled.
Bar's no good anyway. It's not bad on my other one, but this, I don't know, I'm just a bit uncertain down here. We broke below this. You don't know whether buyers are going to try and push it. I don't know. I'm just guessing there. I'd prefer this to be a big bearish bar, because then there's a possibility of a higher low trap then, but it just doesn't look, it's a bit neutral, isn't it? So, you know, you're thinking, so let's have a look at this. If this is a channel, look how we're coming away from the bottom of it. Is there something at this sort of angle, in which case, is there going to be something like that? Or we're going to get a break of a trend? It's so hard to say at the moment. Trouble is, sometimes, I don't know, sometimes whether I overanalyze things. I think what I do works for me, but I think it may keep me out of trades. But I figure, you know, as my experience grows more and more, you know, maybe this overanalyzing may just start to simmer down. But I'd rather be overcautious than careless. Careless gets you stopped out a lot more, I think. But it's still a bit choppy down here. Are we going up? Are we coming down? Are we going to have a break? See, what I find, the more these days, these FOMC days go sideways, I find it very hard to trust trades. I mean, if you look at that, we had a leg and a leg, big bearish bar, worked beautifully. Leg and a leg, big bearish bar, worked beautifully. We had a channel with kind of a break. Second entry short, worked beautifully. Wouldn't have taken it. We got a channel down with a break, 2 legs up. On my other chart, channel down, 2 legs up, bearish bar, worked beautifully. I don't know, sometimes the more choppy these are, the less I sort of trusted them, and sometimes they're the days that just work every time you see. So what can you do, really? There's nothing you can do. You know, you Mac describe trading as having multiple personalities, and on days where it's choppy, those personalities seem untrustworthy. But it is choppy, but everything seems to be working. There doesn't seem to be a lot of traps here that I can't spot that I may have got involved in. I was tempted to take that, left it, but it did work. So it's just one of those things. Yeah, well, on my other chart, we had a nice signal bar, so it was a second entry short. The only difference is with this one, we didn't have a higher low trapped, whereas on this one we did. We had a bullish bar off the bottom, 2 legs down the bullish bar. There was a higher low, so whether it makes much of a difference from one chart to the next, but the setup was better on the other chart. The context was better on here, having trapped a bull bar, trying to sort of maybe ride this thing back in. But because it is sideways or low down and a bit choppy in FMCD, I'm just having trust issues today, which is why I'm sort of second guessing stuff, which is fine. If that's what it is, that's what it is. This almost looks like a great white shark, which is just cruising around looking for someone to bite. And I kind of want to stay out of its path. Turns out it's actually quite a friendly one because it's constantly working. So channel down, 2 attempts to push up, 1 leg down, second leg down, take out this, continue on down, who knows. Okay, push up, big bearish bar. So you'd have to say that is vulnerable. This one at the bottom of the channel, yeah. I think after been trading a while, you just get that sort of intuition, don't you? That kind of natural sixth sense from just seeing this move day in and day out. Keep feeling fail breakout. Yeah, well, naturally, when you go in sideways, when you have a breakout like this, most of the time it does fail. Now, whether this will be any different, because as well as it is sideways, we're also got a bit of a channel. So what takes precedence? I've heard some people say the range, but, you know, maybe it is up until the time it doesn't work. But this, for me, is concerning me thinking about going along here because at the moment, you know, right since around about 3 o'clock. So for the last hour and 20 minutes, this thing is working down like a channel. Now, we are coming away from the bottom, which sometimes indicates we're losing momentum and this thing will pop out the top. And there's kind of 3 bounces there, look. We've got a bullish bar there, another one, and another one. So this may be the one that takes us above this, but if we get a trigger above there and a bearish bar, do you go short, or do you say, well, it's congested? Well, it has been congested during this, but every setup that may have been there worked. 2 legs up, big bearish bar, came down beautifully. 2 legs up, big bearish bar. I mean, look how quick that worked, and that relatively quick as well. Down, across and down, worked like a perfect little channel, that leg and a leg. So every time it's up here and we seem to be trapping longs trying to push up, this thing's coming down. 2 legs up, trapping some bulls, came down. 2 legs up. If it breaks above this and traps that higher low, is that going to come down? But it'll be the one time that you'll decide to get in will be the time when it decides to do the complete opposite and it's done. So I find sometimes if you stayed out of all this, you might as well just let the thing finish now. It's hard to say, isn't it, really? But the more my experience is, the more it chops sideways, sooner or later, it'll come and bite you. But it's how it works, doesn't it? If you do nothing, it'll just continue dropping. The second it gets in, it's like a, I don't know, it's like a big bad wolf, isn't it? It just jumps out with a big grin on its face and goes, "No, you're mine." But channel down, one attempt to push higher, second. I don't think that's a terrible trade to go short, personally. It is a bit sideways, but we got a channel down and 2 attempts to push higher. Or is it just me being paranoid? It is a second entry short. We have trapped some bowls. I don't know. Second entry short, it's tempting. Channel down, 2 legs up, pull back, 2 legs up. But you've also got 3 bounces there. Bars naff anyway. Yeah. Yeah, good point. Yeah, I've just put second entry short anyone down's got signal bars bad. It's ranging. If anything, I'd want to see a triple test. So 1, 2. If we can get another bounce, especially here, maybe worth. But this thing is itching to come down, but for some reason buyers don't want to let it happen, or there's just not enough sellers. It keeps touching the pivot point there. Yeah, see, I don't use pivot points, so I don't generally. What I will say is we've got a leg down. It does look like, but you never know. It's holding on for dear life, isn't it? What I like is the market's, it's actually working really nice at the moment. We've got a leg and a leg in a channel. We've got a leg and a leg up. We've got a pull back and another leg and a leg up. So it's playing like a typical nice working channel. We've got that push down or push phase as what's it calls it? A correction phase, push phase, correction phase, push phase, a correction phase, push phase, a correction phase. So there's a failure here. If that pushes up and traps that may come down. I'm going to get an order ready just in case.
Order submitted.
Now, 2 attempts to push higher. If that triggers above there, it'd be interesting to see how that reacts, because there's a failure there. Okay, it has triggered above there. Let's see what happens. It kind of would be a second entry short. Let's have a look. Let's see how big it is. I like the fact we're going to channel down 2 attempts push out. It's a big bearish bar, that is. I just only hope we've got enough space. It's massive. I think that's a good indication, but it's massive. Let's see if it triggers and we get a limit order. Have we got enough space? Not much. Two legs up, push, 2 legs up. I mean, if it takes those out, there's not a lot of space. I just don't like that little wick. Oh, shoot.
Order cancelled.
I think I'm being watched. Oh, look at that. And it's worked as well. Dan's put, don't do it. I actually like the setup. It's a typical penguin setup. Channel down. We've got that push phase, correction phase, push phase, correction phase. I actually think it'll drop below here, but it's too big and I don't like the wick. Yeah, I wouldn't have done the wick. I actually don't think it's a bad setup, but it's too big. I don't like where it is, but I think channel down, leg up, 2 legs up, push down, 2 legs up. I think it's itching to come down this, but too big, and it didn't finish. You took something similar, MNQ, did you? The signal bar's not brilliant, but it's just one of those things. As that thing was coming down, I thought for sure there it's going to end up down here. Bar's massive, 16 ticks, 17, 18. I'm not getting in it for that much. What I like, it is very much a penguin trade, and what he would do is wait for it to go below there and get in there, and he'd be out at the bottom. So see if we get a lower high here. My gut feeling is telling me this is still going to come down and take these lows. 2 legs up, a leg and a leg down to the lows. So that's where Penguin would get in. He'd drop a limit order in there once it had that initial push through there. And this for me is going to work. So 10 ticks for 2.5 points out there. Plenty of time before these, but you never know, do you? But it's looking like push down, a couple of legs back, push down, another couple of legs back, and then straight down. But it is choppy, but it's readable. You can clearly see the legs, push phase, that correction. But I think really it's... see you guys, good luck with it. Yeah, you take it easy, Chris. Take it easy, bud. But yeah, I mean, look, it's flitting around there. My gut feeling is this is down at the moment. If I got in along there, they're vulnerable. You've already got a failure there which triggered and stopped out. So my gut feeling is this probably going to work? But 1, I don't like the stem. 2, it's too big. Because it is a risk. If it was up here, then I think that would be a better option. Well, if it had been up there, you'd have had your points. Yeah, if it had been up here, then there'd have been at least a couple of points there. I mean, if you got in there, you'd have got a point maximum. Delta is flat. Waiting for the news. Yeah, now we've pushed up close to top. I still think it'll probably work. I actually think as a positional trade, I think it's pretty good. But what do I know? It, for me, is readable. Push down, 2 legs up, push down, 2 legs up. But sometimes when it is like this, you never quite know where it's going to go. I've not trusted this channel all the way down. But you see what I mean about now you're thinking, okay, now let's get in, and what happens? It comes down a point, 3/4 of a point, not enough to get a point, and all of a sudden starts to backtrack. So never trusted it there, never trusted it there, never trusted it there, and the one time you're thinking, considering it, this happens. But depending on how you're looking at this channel, we definitely seem to be losing a bit of momentum, which often leads to a break. So if this triggered, this may be a triple test. So let's see if that gets taken. Okay, yeah, so if you took it, it wouldn't have worked. I mean, to be honest with you, I looked at it, but one, it was too big straight away. I don't want to get in 2/3 of the way down there. 2, there's a big wick. So if it had been up here, you know, it came down a tick off the bottom, granted, but there you go. Maybe this might be, actually, this would be a second entry short. Sorry. Well, 2 legs up, certainly a triple test, but we didn't quite get down to the bottoms there. So is this losing a bit of downward momentum? But it is good to remember when it's like this, just to go careful. There's no harm done missing a day or having a day off when it's finicky like this. Yeah, so that's pushed up, stopped out any possible shorts. Second entry short, maybe you've got a better signal bar there. Bearish bar off the top. It's actually broken above there, and sometimes when it does push up and break above there, that's when it decides then to go down. It clears up some of this. It's just taken that one, and that's sometimes when it decides, now let's go down and pick off the liquidity down here. So you could consider that a triple test. What I don't like is it's gone quite a bit higher. If that was a triple test, I prefer that to break above there and then start to work down relatively quickly once it's taken any of this liquidity, and it hasn't. Dan. I don't know whether he's got 6th sense or he's watching me, but I just saw a message pop up. Don't do it, lads. So happy to see you. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. I recognise your name. I haven't spoke to you for a long time. Texting you after a very long time. I'm still struggling, but happy to see you green. Mate, I've had my fair share of struggling, mate. It hasn't been an easy ride. That is very tempting. But I'm going to leave it because it's a little bit finicky, this. Let's see if we get a lower high. That's good to hear from you, mate. Yeah, trading's a tough business. It takes a lot of time. That's working, isn't it? See if we get a lower high. Yeah, I remember you. Yeah, I remember your name. Yeah, I'm pretty good with names. Oh, look at that now. Look, oof, straight down. Sometimes it just takes that right move, doesn't it? It was a triple test. My only issue is it broke above there and you don't know whether it's going to trigger. I got no issues with letting one go. No, good to see you, mate. Good to see you still around. A lot of people come and go, don't they? You know, a lot of faces. Oh, they're the wrong. No, it's okay, mate. Don't worry. I was unsure about this. Anyway, I don't know whether Dan took it anyway. It is a little bit finicky at the moment. So, no, don't you worry, mate. Let me just see if Thomas Wade or anything took it. Just couldn't decide. Okay, yeah, that's a fair comment. Oh no, that was a little bit further back. Archer took it. Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? Ionis, you're still here. I know some people just sort of sit quietly in the background, don't they? Some people focus in on what they're doing. Some people can chat and trade, but yeah, it's, you know, it's nice to see that I'm starting to get, well, hopefully we all are. Look at that, straight through a lot of them. Hopefully we're all starting to get there. My theory is if you sit here long enough, day after day, sooner or later, just don't want to ruin a green day. Yeah, I'd say if you're up a trade or two, that's a great time to enjoy the rest of your day. Absolutely. I don't mind missing that. I don't think the setup was terrible. I didn't think that setup was terrible. 2 legs up. It is a triple test, but I would prefer it to react. I don't know. I'd have wanted that as soon as it cleared this out to start to turn, and it didn't, and it did break above that EMA. So this kind of could be bottoming. We've had a channel. We've made one attempt to go lower, second attempt to go lower. We came up, came down, it took off the bottom and turned. So, you know, it's. I think if you've got doubts, it works for me. If you don't know whether it's going to trigger you and push higher, if you've got a doubt and you're not sure what's going on, I think always the best course of action is just let it go. It's struggling to get down, isn't it? You know, it is working down, but then you just don't know what's going to happen. And we have broke below here, and it's bounced once, twice, 3 times. How many times is enough before it eventually starts to, you know, do the complete opposite? So. Yeah, I never have a problem leaving a trade. There's no harm in it at all. If you're not sure, better than just think, oh, sod it, let's have a go, and then you end up getting cut to pieces and wishing you hadn't done. So I think experience has told me if you're not sure, just let it go. You're guaranteed never going to lose a penny. I don't know whether Dan's gone a bit quiet. I'm wondering whether he took that and he's watching his runner. I'm guessing that's probably the case. He was looking for a triple test. I prefer my triple test a bit flatter. I'd have liked it to break above that big bullish bar and then do that. We broke above it. We had another one and then it went quite a bit higher. So I left that. No issues. You can clearly see it's 2 legs, can't you? And it did work beautifully. So what I find is when you see something like a bit like that again, that broke a little bit above it, once you've seen that go without you a few times, I think at some point you'll start to go, ooh. Experience will just tell you the last 4 times we've seen that it worked, and it worked well. When they do work, they work well. And even if you ride that down to these, sometimes it's worth the risk. I mean, look, it's 5.25 points down to there. And if you break below there, you know, you're going to have a fair old push. I mean, it's come down 8 points, isn't it? But what I tend to do is if I target these areas, which I don't often, I more do on evaluations, I put it right at the close because sometimes it'll bounce or in fact a tick below the close somewhere about there, because sometimes I've had it where I've traded on an evaluation, it's bounced the same and took off. So that is looking nice there now. So I'm guessing we'll probably continue down. Why isn't that working? Move. There we go. You know, we've gone sideways. We've broken out of this, pulled back in, broken out of this, and now we're deep into it now. So I'll be inclined now to get rid of that. So we got this kind of 2 channels down, leg up, couple of legs down, up a bit, and then we start to go down. So I'm treating this like a channel. Yeah, it's a shame about that. It's a trade that I think Mac will mark without a doubt, but in real time, things move quick, and not only that, it went quick. So even if you did drop a limit order, you might not even have got filled. And it's only really a first entry. There's your second entry there. We've got to recount here because of this, so it's only really a first entry, although the general picture is it's 2 legs up and a triple test, so breakout, pull back. Break out the top, break out the bottom. Second entry short may interest me. Although for a breakout pullback, it's pulled back quite a considerable amount. Yeah, if you've got a green day, I always find if I win some money and then lose it, I get more frustrated than just taking a loss. I don't like giving back, and you'll rarely see me trade again. I did yesterday, but I only had a 1.5. So can't do nothing here. We're still in that little uptrend. Are you familiar with the megaphone pattern? Yes, I've heard of it, which I'm assuming is that, isn't it? Something like that, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know. Is that bearish or bullish? I'm aware of patterns just because I've watched so many videos about crypto and a few of people's analysis on crypto. How you doing, Edward? You're Whitchurch still, aren't you? Or Malpass, or you're just outside Whitchurch, if I remember rightly? Yeah, I think that's a megaphone. Is it bearish or bullish? I'm not sure. I know I've often thought about printing out some of these pattern charts that you can just sort of laminate, and you can see patterns if you've got one forming. Just, if you get a second entry short and you've got this anyway, it's a bearish pattern. It may just give you that little extra momentum for to take a trade. So we're up to here again and we're down, but we've had a channel up with a break. I think it's just the way sweep liquidity, but I got you. So that actually worked really nice there. I think good setups do. So sideways, we've had a breakout there. So Rotherham. Yeah, I was pretty sure you were UK. I couldn't remember. There was a couple of UK guys I chatted to then again. I got you, yeah. I would have a small break on the downtrend. If I go from here to here, that looks okay to me. I think I had it there initially, but then I moved it up a touch. But if this is, yeah, see, Thomas Wade's got a break. Yeah, maybe there is. If this is one of those megaphone patterns, it comes out the bottom and takes out stops and could push up and clear this out. So down and up. And see, if I take that down to there, yeah, there is a small break, isn't there? Whether I consider that a break, whether it's just 2 legs up and it just happened to tick above. Great opportunity. Yeah, see, for me, if you had a different chart, that could be a tick lower, hence no breakout. So I think that's negligible. But I mean, where do you stop? Where do you draw the line? But if you look, we're coming away from the bottom, so maybe this thing ends up being more like this. I wouldn't be surprised. If you look at that now, it actually fits better. So maybe you go from there to there, and these have just come up a bit short. So yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? But I think the safest. Well, I've always had the opinion that the safest option is if you think you've had a break. If you think there may have been a break, assume you have. So maybe. To get me some NVIDIA this afternoon. Is it down at the moment? Is it? I think NVIDIA's got a good name, isn't it? It certainly dominates the graphics card industry, doesn't it? When you think of graphics card, you think of NVIDIA, don't you? I don't do much stocks and shares. I have got a pension, which I put into the S&P 500. I don't think there's many places you're going to get much better security and a good rate. So, channel break, new extreme. STI is down 2, time to sell a put. You take options as well, do you? Never tried options, don't even really fully understand them. So, that would be a second entry short. I don't like it at the moment. I'm unsure. There's a possible break with a new low. We've had a push up with a break. So this could go up and clear out. If this is kind of a megaphone pattern, which one or two says it might, it could push up, clean out this, the same as it's done at the bottom. Get over $2,000 for a 320 strike. Straight over my head, mate, that one. Don't know much about options. I've only ever traded. I mean, I've purchased stocks. I haven't traded any. I've traded some crypto. I've traded some currency and obviously futures for the last 3.5 years, but nothing else really. Always amazes me when it comes down to graphics cards. You literally have two companies to choose from. Yeah. What is it? Is it NVIDIA and what they called? Don't they do the Radeon something? I can't think. AMD, of course. Yeah. See, AMD, unlike NVIDIA, do processors as well, don't they? I don't think NVIDIA do. Well, obviously they'll do processors for their own GPUs, but AMD are known for the Ryzen, aren't they? It's supposed to be great. I've got a Ryzen in my machine. They're supposed to be as good, but quite a bit cheaper than Intel. So, break, one push higher. Is this a second push higher? Where's this going? It's hard to trade. This is double trap. Yeah, I wouldn't have gone short at the moment because whether it's a break here or whether it's a break here, you have to give it a bit of space. I think it said there was a break there. I think they're right. Sean, yeah. It's safe to assume that's a break and a new low, so you've got to give this some space. And if it is one of them megaphone patterns, it may just go down, clear out stops, up, clear out stops, grab liquidity, and then do whatever it wants to do. But it's not easy to trade today. I think that actually was a pretty good trade. But if it was a break, having a tiny break like that and pushing straight down, which leads me to believe maybe that wasn't the break, maybe this is it. But I did say sometimes sometimes as we come away from this line, it indicates a break, but we're coming away from that line really neatly, which is telling me there may be a larger channel in play. I've noticed that sometimes as it's coming away, I'm thinking break. And if you look once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6 times perfectly, which is telling me there may be a larger channel in play, and we're just literally coming up a bit short here. I mean, I could be wrong, but look how nice that's fitting. So I'll put it back. I mean, if we come up to this level here and we bounce, then obviously maybe there is something larger. So I'm just going to put that like that for now. Get rid of this and put this back. And let's just...
Connection lost.
Wow, look at that. Missed that. Straight up to this level. Did it break above it? I feel it may have done. Oh, didn't it? Yeah, it did by a tick. So if you'd had a stop there, triggered you, took out your stop, and then woof. You're back. Yeah, I had I just noticed it said OBS disconnected and then reconnected. It does once in a while. And I noticed my Replicanto. Look at this. So I would suggest now that maybe there is a larger channel. It's gone. What's it's gone again? Took out stops. Yeah, my rhythmic's just shut down again. I wonder what's causing this. So is there a bigger channel there? Maybe. I wouldn't expect a break that small. That I've forgotten about. I wouldn't expect a break that small. Just okay, we're back in now. I don't know. Maybe my internet cut back a bit. So channel break, 2 pushes to a new high, and then down we come. Unfortunately, no entry, no indication of an entry until that push down there. Yeah, Thomas Wade said typical FMC day, just directional chop. So on days like this, maybe a good idea to just sit there, relax, and just watch the market watch price. So maybe it was one of those megaphone patterned push down there at 1, 2, 3 stops, pushed up at that top one by a tick and then straight down there. It is frustrating though if you'd have taken that and held. That's why I often give it an extra tick. Sometimes it'll trigger you out by a tick and then do the complete opposite. So we've had that push down. We've got a bullish bar there, which is triggered. So I might move that down a bit. And then up a bit. No, So, a small breakout here, 2 legs up, small breakout there. It's often how it works. Can't do nothing here. I think that's vulnerable. We've bounced a couple of times. The thing's generally down, so taking a long here wouldn't be my cup of tea. It's triggered this. I think this is vulnerable. Yeah, so Dan took that triple test. Well, he marked it. I'm guessing he took it. So he's got that. The initial I have, it's coming away from the bottom. So from a break point of view, we rarely get a tiny break like that followed by a big push down. It may have been because there's a triple test. I don't know. But trouble is, you hesitate with a trade like that, and look how quick it comes down. So you hesitated for a second, you missed it. Okay, so that works straight up. So channel break, new low, straight up. Something's got to give, isn't it? Okay, so let's put that touch, break. Whether there's a small break there or not, I don't know. I think we've had a new low anyway, and we've had 2 attempts to push lower. So where is this thing going now? It's hard trading this. You may think now we're going up, but I got no idea really. It's up there. At least it made a bit of sense. Leg and a leg, bearish bar. Leg and a leg. Came down a bit, but the triple test was a better one. But no, it's just it's doing what it does. So, is that a triple test? Trouble is, we've got a little channel there, so I got to avoid this really. Channel down, 2 attempts to push higher. I don't know. I'm just staying out of it at the moment. It is a triple test, I suppose, but it's still within that channel really, so nothing for me. Hmm. Okay, so whether we've had a break there and a new low, or there and an attempt at a new low, I don't know. Not the easiest day today. It's a good day to not trade today, actually, with the exception of the odd trade. It's there's actually setups. We got two legs up, bearish bar off the top, worked beautifully. A leg and a leg. Trapping some longs maybe, but yeah, I mean it's a bit too early to trade that. But the market's kind of, we get the push correction, so it's kind of playing and we kind of like it, but there's a lot of chop involved. It is pushing up and down. There's a lot of sideways. It is coming down, but it's very much sideways, which is why we kind of had a range for such a long time. And when you're getting conflicting things that it's sideways but it down, it generally tends to categorize, or I categorize it as just choppy, which does make trading a little bit more dangerous. Market just seems to go after stops, although taking in the right place, it worked okay, but I don't know. So how long have we been trading for? 2 hours and 40. Short of the little red bar, chicken close for a stretch trade. Yeah, it's an inside bar that at the moment, because we've had a break, whether it's here or here, and a push up and above this. I don't know whether it's going to come down and test this and push up higher or come down again. I got no idea. It's quite kind of hard to read at the moment. There's always that possibility that the range, it kind of extends more to there. Which doesn't look terrible. We're definitely finding some support here. It started off down and then kind of started to go a bit sideways. But I am going to come back later with an evaluation. I took another $1,000 in payments out today, so I'm going to invest a few $100 of it and pick. I did one evaluation earlier, which I passed. 1 for 1, which is good going for me. This is very much looking rangy. Channel break new high. And there is a lower high on this chart. But we kind of have a leg down, and this could push up. It's just, it can be dangerous here. It may work, but I wouldn't want to go short into that EMA, but we could get a second entry long and it could push up and clean out this area. So just have to sit tight here, I think. Unless we get a failure. Yeah, there is a second entry long, but I don't want to go long into this. You can see there's some support over there. It may trigger and come down. Price is holding here, so I don't think it's a worse trade in the world, but I'd want to be out before the top, and I fear by the time that finishes, there ain't a lot of space left. And at the moment, I don't know, it's one of them things, isn't it? It's very easy to get chopped up. It is sideways, so I'm not taking a trade there, but looks totally different from my primary. Do they really? Yeah, all with Apex, bud. No issues. I had 6,001 lump sum, which I had 4 or 5 days ago. I had 2 emails early, $500 each. So yeah, I expect them to go through. I've had no issues. I'm not worried about Apex. I know there's been a few little things around about they're getting sued by, an ex-employee or whatever and stuff like that. But they've introduced this wealth chart. They're not acting like a company who's in trouble. We know they make an absolute ton of money, so I'm not concerned. I'm okay if you play by the rules, which I did since last time. The $6,000 I had out of 3 accounts, I've taken $500 today out of the same account. So I've just played the game, and if you follow the rules, they pay you. I've never been turned down for a payment when I played the rules. Hand on heart. So I've got no concerns with Apex. I know sometimes you hear stories and all this sort of stuff, but there's all sorts of stuff goes on with companies and people getting claims and sued for, I don't know, wrongful dismissal. All sorts of allegations go on in companies and that. You just tend to not hear about it really, but what with sort of the advent of social media, and I think what happened is Apex upset a few people when they decided to follow the rules. I think really it would have been less of an impact on them if they'd have said, now from the beginning of next month, you are now going to need to adhere to the rules. If they'd have said that, it would have prepared people, but all of a sudden they started sort of following the rules when they hadn't done, and a lot of people got cheesed off about it, and I absolutely get it, and I think really it put Apex down a bit of a rocky road for a while, and a few other little things here or there they've not had an easy time of it. I'm not concerned. I think things will work out fine. But yeah, I'm not worried at all. So I've never been. I've been turned down for payments. Yeah, I have. Not a huge amount, but I've had maybe 4 or 5 over the last 3 or 4 months. But I've just played the rules for the next 8 days and no issues. But yeah, they were all with Apex. I had $3,000 from Turkey. I did bring emails over when I got them. I have showed you. I did earlier. So, you know, straight up, I've been paid. There's been no issues. But they approved this one quick. The last one took 3 days. I put this in, I don't know, late last night. So I just happened to be on my chart, messing around with a few things. And I saw I could put it in. So I thought I'll put them in. And early this morning, the email was there. It was quick. Sometimes they're super quick. Other times it seems to take a few days. But compared to what it used to be like, when I started trading with Apex, you had to trade for 25 days before you could take a penny. And now it's 8 days. Trouble, 25 days, see, there's not 25 trading days in a month. And if you don't trade every month, it seems to take forever. But fortunately, more and more prop firms are coming out with better deals, which obviously, you know, puts more competition out in the market, makes things better for us. So leg up. I got no idea at the moment. In fact, I'm knocking on the head now. I've been trading for nearly 3 hours. It's 5:20 UK time, so I'm going to get out my tea. I did pick another evaluation up about 10 minutes ago, as you can see. It's popped up down there. Passed one this morning, but I'm resetting these accounts for $35, so it works out at 8% off, and it's still $85 for a PA. So I'm going to trade that other one here tonight. With the FOMC. We got the press conference after, but the FOMC statement comes out, and that I would have thought would flex the market. So I'm going to have a go at another evaluation. As I say, I got another $1,000, so I got a little bit of cash, and I'm going to use that to play with and build on these accounts. So I'm going to knock on the head for that. Slow, typical FOMC, I think. There has been a couple of setups. That one I think was good. I don't know. I hesitated. It looked like a break. And if you didn't get in there quick, you wouldn't have got in, because it came down, I don't know, 4.5 points relatively quickly. Yeah, you too, Daryl. So there you go, folks. If you're carrying on trading, best of luck. And I'll be back again tomorrow. So have a great evening. Stay safe, and we'll catch up again tomorrow. Bye for now.